Imagine ruling the greatest kingdom on earth, only for someone to spend years trying to erase every trace you ever existed. Your statues are smashed. Your name is carved off monuments. Future generations are told you were never king, not queen, king. For more than 20 years, one woman ruled ancient Egypt with all the authority of a pharaoh. She wore the royal crown, held the symbols of divine power, and even appeared in statues with a ceremonial beard. Her name was Hatshepsut, and for over 3,000 years, history almost forgot her. Last episode, Egypt transformed from two rival kingdoms into one of the world's greatest civilizations. Its armies expanded, its monuments reached the sky, its pharaohs were treated as living gods. But every kingdom eventually faces the same question: who inherits the throne? In Egypt, the answer was usually simple. A king dies, his son becomes king. But what happens when the heir is only a child? That's where Hatshepsut's story begins. Hatshepsut was born around 1505 BCE during Egypt's 18th dynasty. This wasn't just another royal family. Egypt had recently driven out the Hyksos, foreign rulers who had occupied the north for generations. Now, under the new kingdom, Egypt was becoming richer and more powerful than ever before. Her father was Pharaoh Thutmose I, one of Egypt's greatest military leaders. Unlike many royal daughters, Hatshepsut received an exceptional education. She learned royal ceremonies, religious traditions, government administration, diplomacy, everything expected of someone close to the throne. One of her most important roles was serving as the god's wife of Ammonius. This wasn't merely symbolic. The temple of Ammonius at Karnak controlled enormous wealth, vast estates, thousands of workers, and tremendous political influence. Holding this title made Hatshepsut one of the most powerful women in Egypt long before she ever ruled. When Thutmose I died, the throne passed to Thutmose II. To strengthen his claim, he married Hatshepsut. Royal marriages between close relatives were common among Egypt's rulers. The goal wasn't romance. It was preserving the royal bloodline. Their reign lasted only a few years. Then everything changed. Thutmose II died unexpectedly. The next heir was a young boy, Thutmose III, but he wasn't Hatshepsut's son. He was born to one of the king's secondary wives. He was far too young to govern an empire stretching hundreds of miles along the Nile. So Hatshepsut became regent. Officially, she ruled on behalf of the child king. At least, that was the plan. Most regents eventually step aside. Hatshepsut didn't. Around 7 years into the regency, she made one of the boldest political moves in Egyptian history. She declared herself pharaoh, not queen, not queen mother, not regent, pharaoh. Egyptian kingship had always been portrayed as male. So, instead of changing the institution, Hatshepsut changed herself. Official statues gradually transformed. At first, artists carved her with feminine features. Later, she appeared wearing the royal kilt, the nemes headdress, the ceremonial false beard. Even inscriptions began referring to her using masculine royal titles. This wasn't because she believed she was a man. It was political theater. The image of kingship mattered more than biology. To strengthen her legitimacy, priests promoted a remarkable story. They claimed the god Ammonius himself had fathered Hatshepsut. If true, her right to rule came directly from the gods, not from men. Unlike many pharaohs remembered for war, Hatshepsut invested in something different: construction, trade, prosperity. Her greatest achievement still stands today: the mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari. Built into towering limestone cliffs on the west bank of the Nile, it remains one of the masterpieces of ancient architecture. Its long terraces, sweeping ramps, and elegant colonnades were unlike anything Egypt had built before. She also ordered enormous obelisks carved from single blocks of granite. Some weighed more than 300 tons. Moving them hundreds of kilometers down the Nile required engineering that still amazes historians. But perhaps her most famous achievement wasn't a monument. It was an expedition. Around year 9 of her reign, Hatshepsut sent a fleet south to the mysterious land of Punt. Exactly where Punt was remains debated today, though many scholars place it around modern Eritrea, Somalia, or the Horn of Africa. The expedition returned with gold, ivory, ebony, exotic animals, incense trees, even living myrrh trees, carefully transported back to Egypt and planted near her temple. The journey was so important that she had the entire expedition carved into stone. More than 3,000 years later, those reliefs still survive. Hatshepsut died around 1458 BC. Her successor was Thutmose III, the same child she had ruled beside for decades. Years later, something strange happened. Across Egypt, her statues were smashed, her cartouches were chiseled away, her image disappeared from monuments. By the time Greek historians visited Egypt, Hatshepsut had largely vanished from memory. Only in the 19th century did archaeologists begin piecing together her remarkable story from broken statues, forgotten inscriptions, and buried temples. One of Egypt's greatest rulers had been hidden in plain sight. For centuries, historians believed this was simple revenge, a stepson destroying his stepmother's legacy. Today, many scholars think the answer is more complicated. The campaign began decades after her death. Rather than hatred, it may have been an attempt to restore the traditional line of male kingship. Whatever the reason, it almost worked. While Hatshepsut built temples and opened trade routes, another ruler was learning how to wage war. The young king who had shared the throne with her would grow into one of history's greatest military commanders. Under Thutmose III, Egypt wouldn't simply defend its borders. It would become an empire unlike anything the Nile had ever seen. If you thought Hatshepsut's reign was extraordinary, the story of the man who followed her changed the map of the ancient world.